Hi, I'm Rahul Chapwale. I'm a care home owner with over a decade of care experience caring for the elderly. In the years that I've been in this business, a lot of people have concerns about the cost of care and paying for care. It's a major concern for a lot of people and families looking to put their relatives into care. And to address that situation, today I've got Stephen here, Stephen Skeet, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about paying for care. And welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
And can I just ask you maybe to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, as Rahul says, my name is Steve Skeet. I'm a chartered financial planner. I've got many years' experience in the financial service industry, and I cover the majority of different types of financial planning that you might need. Our business is Capital Planning Partners Limited. We're what is known as a senior partner practice of St James Place Wealth Management. So that's where we seek all our products and services and our compliance from, and we find that as a FTSE 100 company, that works really well for all our clients.
That's awesome. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your own journey with elderly care?
Yeah, sure. Apart from many situations with clients, I personally have experience of the care journey myself. Both my parents have needed residential and nursing care. In fact, my mother still resides at Downsvale Nursing Home, and she's been here for a bit over 2.5 years now, and has always received excellent care. And we know that with her Alzheimer's, that she's been looked after in a great way. My father was also here. He sadly passed away January last year, but again received excellent care, and certainly during what I call his final journey, which was about the last six weeks of his life, we and my brother and sister couldn't fault the care that was given to them. So I really do understand the immense strain and emotions that having a loved one needing care can put on families. And then it's a case of thinking about what type of care do I need, how am I going to pay for it, where do I go for it, and that's where you really do need to seek professional advice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major stress, it's a really stressful situation for people to be actually having someone who's really unwell, and also then be thinking about, the cost of care and obviously the major financial implications that would have. Is there like sort of an average cost of care that UK families should be thinking of and should consider?
Yeah, I mean, statistics are run on this, at various points in time. And some relatively recent statistics are that the average cost of residential care is around, nursing care is around £63,000 a year, and residential care around £45,000. Now, those figures are pertinent to the southeast of the UK, and they will vary by region. But I have seen costs much higher than that, and it really will vary very much dependent on the facilities that the care homes have. I think it's also a good point to make that in the last 10 years, residential care costs have increased by around 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised the number of people coming into care aren't really aware of all of these costs, and a lot of people think the state would actually pay for all of that.
Yeah.
Basically, what does sort of financial planning involve? I mean,
Sure. So it's a complex area, and there are, as you will know, Rahul, from your side of things, there's a lot of different considerations that individuals need to have. First of all, they've got to think about the type of care it's going to be, whether it's going to be domiciliary, i.e. in your own home, whether it's going to be residential, whether it's going to be full nursing care, and they're all going to have different cost levels. And the key thing is, unless you're going to qualify for any assistance towards the care costs, which would be ascertained through local authority assessments and the individual's asset base as it happens, then you've got to think how you're going to pay for it. And broadly, there's a number of ways that you can consider it, but the main ones are the individual going into care. What's their income stream already? Not many people tend to have an income stream that is sufficient to be paying for the care costs each month. what assets has the individual got that they've already got that they could draw on, which could be cash assets or existing investments. There are also what are known as care fee plans, which there's a couple of types. There's one called deferred annuity and one called an immediate needs annuity. And these can really provide peace of mind. But to give a quotation and to understand more about these plans does require an individual assessment of the costs of the person going into care, because it will be very much what the cost of those plans are will be very much based on the individual health considerations of an individual, their age and so forth. And the other area potentially could be equity release, which it can involve raising money from your home if necessary. So there's a variety of ways there, and it's really very much an individual conversation to understand what might be appropriate for you.
Yeah, by the sounds of what you're saying to me, it doesn't sound like it's one size fits all. It's a very personalized approach, and everybody's different, isn't it, depending on their circumstances. Yeah. So, how does the financial planning, how can that ease the anxiety of putting someone into care then?
Yeah. Now, as you rightly say, this is not a situation where one size fits all. There are a number of different ways to meet the costs of care, and financial planning really allows you to explore the options that you take for care and be in an informed position. So, knowing that you have a financial plan to ensure that your loved one is going to be able to stay in the care facility you want them to, both now and in the future and for the rest of their days, is a massive peace of mind, as nobody knows how long they're going to live. People often tend to think that their relative isn't likely to need care for that long, but
That's
in practice,
so true. Yeah.
I'm sure you can echo that. We've seen many cases where professional care for a loved one has stabilised the person's health position. They rally and they last for a lot more years in care than you might think for, and therefore having a really sound financial plan to pay for it all is very important. It's also good for the care home, as you will understand as a director of a care home, to know that there is a plan in place to pay for the fees, so that and it can be quite a good thing for both the family and the care home to know that there is a plan there that is going to mean the fees are going to be met.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major concern for a lot of people. One of the questions that I get asked a lot, for example, is, what happens when my mum or dad run out of money? Are they going to be moved? Because that's a major concern. A lot of the care homes in the southeast, as you know, are, the fees are generally higher than what the local authority will pay. So then what happens when their funds run out? Yeah. So, clearly as a care homeowner, I can attest to the fact that, any management that knows that there is a financial plan in place would always prefer that customer or that client, because they know and they have the surety that that person is going to be able to afford that care, even if that person was to last many years longer.
Sure.
So,
absolutely, and I think it's worth saying that we have seen situations, and this is a practical example of a situation where somebody had £250,000 3 years ago. The family thought, okay, that'll be fine, that'll cover the care costs, not necessarily thinking that the individual would live that long. Now 3 years down the line, the money's nearly run out, and the care home costs are still there to pay because the individual is still alive. So it's really important to take trusted financial advice to understand your position and know where you're at with everything.
Would you say, I mean, I've seen lots of situations, obviously a lot of people may not have the liquid assets to pay for it and have to ultimately sell their house. Is it still useful for them to consult yourselves if they have house, the money is received from their house, to consult somebody such as yourself?
Sure, because it's a case, I think it's really a case of looking at anybody's overall, as we do with any financial planning, what's the overall asset position, what are the costs involved that need to be met, and how can you use those assets in the most efficient way to give you peace of mind to know that your loved one's going to be catered for the rest of their life. And I think the key thing is that we're talking about the money that's going to be used, generally speaking, is going to be the money that the person going into care has accumulated through their life. And obviously, people have an obligation to if there are attorneys under a lasting power of attorney, to to do the right thing, as most people will, for that individual. So getting an informed position of what your options are with your asset base, regardless of how that may be made up currently, is a good idea.
Yeah, sounds like there's many different options really for people to have and to consider. I think it's just a case of getting that knowledge out there to people,
Sure.
and to making them aware of what the options are. And it sounds like a lot of people, from my experience anyway, I can tell you for sure, a lot of people could benefit from this advice. Mm-hmm. So we're going to leave a link below on this page. You can actually contact Steve, and he'd be happy to have a sort of a consultation with yourselves and give you the information that you need. And thank you very much for coming here, Steve, today, and really appreciate your time. And wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very much.